Thank you very much, Mr. Chair and Ranking Member, and I truly appreciate your courtesy in allowing me to rejoin the Natural Resources Committee for this critical hearing. And it should come as no surprise that my concern is for our marine environment. I have introduced two pieces of legislation that would affirmatively place a moratorium on any domestic or international deep sea mining until we know exactly what's going on in our ocean. So no surprises where I'm coming from on this. Mr. Barron, back a couple of years ago when you were questioned about concerns with environmental impacts of deep sea mining, you stated in the press that where you wanted to mine is a quote-unquote marine desert. If you measure the amount of life there, it is measured in grams per square meter. There are no trees, no plants at all. You also said that your mechanism for deep sea mining is blasting a jet of water to the nodule to lift it up. In this part of the ocean floor, there isn't much to impact to begin with. You stand by those statements?
Thank you for the question. Yes, I do.
Okay, and what is the basis, the scientific environmental basis for your statements that basically there won't be any particular impacts from? Can you point to a specific study? Like you held up a bunch of paper there. Is that from the original act back in 1980, or is that more recent, or what's the basis for that statement?
Well, I think it begins with the fact that if we think about all of the landscapes on our planet, and if we were to draw a bar chart, and on the right-hand side, you'd have an environment that has the most life that could be impacted, and that would be called our tropical forests.
Yeah, what I'm asking for is, do you cite a specific scientific study?
Yes.
And where is that study for the basis for your statement? That's what I'm getting at.
Yes, and I'll get to that in a moment.
But I have a limited amount of time, so what I'm doing is I'm asking a very specific question. What is the scientific basis for your statement?
Well, I'll draw you to my testimonial, where we cite all of, or many of the studies that have been carried out. And in fact, just recently, of course, I heard people refer to the DOMES study that was carried out back from the trials that were done in the 1970s.
Okay.
Our own studies, we revisited the area where we had collected nodules from in 2022. And when we went back a year later, we found that Formenfera in the tracks had recovered 30% to pre-disturbance levels.
Okay, so are those your studies, Mr. Barron?
Well, they're studies we fund.
Your company's studies?
They're studies we fund.
Okay, yeah, they're studies you fund. And as far as the underlying environmental impact statement that you referenced, that was back to the 70s, which was related to the passage of the law in 1980 that we are relying upon today for our environmental protections. Is that correct, under the executive order?
The trials were done in 1979, and of course, the study that went back last year was a broad range of funders, all independent, who went back on a study that was published only 2 weeks ago, I believe.
Okay, all right. So I've read that executive order, and first of all, I see absolutely no reference to environmental protection whatsoever in the president's executive order. The word environment is mentioned once, and it's kind of a throwaway. It's a reference to a 1980 law, which we propose to proceed under. Obviously, a lot has changed, I believe, since 1980. So, Mr. Curry, let me just focus a couple of questions on you, because fundamentally, I don't think that we have those studies in hand right now. First of all, it strikes me that we are only studying one kind of extraction. So, for example, plucking a nodule off of the sea floor. The videos I've seen show a big old clam shell dredge coming down, impacting, going down deeper than 2 inches, by the way, and sucking up a bunch of the ocean floor. We also have the technique which is fundamentally strip mining the ocean floor and dragging stuff across it. Is there any limitation on what kind of mining we would be able to do under this executive order that you know of, or are we just focusing our studies only on one particular type of least intrusive impact?
Yes, I would not call it least intrusive impact. I think the kind of damage that you talk about is clear. in my opening remarks, I talked about the damage to the nodules. We know the nodules themselves have life on them. We know between 50 and 70% of deep sea life are dependent on the nodules. We know that the deep sea plume will smother the life that is down there. And it really is very deeply concerning to hear Mr. Barron make such clearly scientifically incorrect statements when this is the company that proposes to do the seabed mining in the deep sea 5,000 metres deep, far away from any regulatory authorities, far away from any controls.
I'm not going to overstep my welcome in this committee, and my time is up.
We'll do the
Chair.
second round if you'd like to stay around.
Thank you so much, and I would ask for a consent to be able to submit written records, written questions for this.
Without
Thank you so much.